Okay, today we're going to take a look at two different types of variations. The first variation is called the direct variation, which is basically a linear function. And the second type of variation is the inverse variation, which, as you can see, is a rational function because the x is in the denominator. Now, you learned about direct variation in Algebra 1, so this probably looks familiar to you. Notice the k value is in the slope position. Okay? Now, in each case, the k value here is the constant of variation. So that's going to be our first step, is to figure out what k is. Let me say that again. The first step is to find out what the value of k is. So there's going to be two parts to these problems. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to read the first part here. It says, if y varies directly as x. So what this tells you right here, notice it says varies directly. So directly tells you to use the direct variation. So we're going to go ahead and start by writing down the equation. Okay, then they give us some information to help us find k, the constant of variation. They tell us that y is 25 and that x is equal to 15. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and substitute those in. 25 in for y, 15 goes in for k, and now, very simply, we solve for k. Now remember, since it's a direct variation, k is our slope. So we do want to leave this in fraction format. So 25 over 15 is going to reduce down to 5/3. All right, now that we found our constant of variation, we're going to rewrite this equation right here. We're going to plug in the slope. And there is our new equation. Okay, we found the constant of variation using the information they gave us. Now we have a problem to solve. It says find x when y equals 40. Okay, so we plug the number in, so 40 goes in for y, and we're trying to find x. So if you're using your calculator, yes, you could divide both sides by 5/3. Make sure you put 5/3 in parentheses. Or an even better way and a more advanced way would to get rid of a fraction here and it's being multiplied is to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal. Notice the 3's and the 5's cancel when you cross reduce. And then x is going to be 3 times 40 is 120. 120 divided by 5. So we got 24. Okay, number 2. Here we go. If y varies inversely as x, okay, this is going to tell us which variation that we're using. So you see the word inversely. So we go up and we're going to use the inverse variation. It's pretty much straightforward. So y equals k over x. Okay, remember the first step is to find the constant of variation. So let's plug in the numbers that they give us. 22 goes in for y, and 6 goes in for x. So finding the constant of variation, we're going to make this into a proportion and cross multiply. So k equals 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1, 132. There's your constant of variation. Now remember, we plug that into our equation. So n for k is our 132. And now we solve the problem. Find x when y equals 15. Substitute in the 15. And we're going to solve for x. Now remember, with these types of problems, the easiest way to solve these is by cross-multiplying, setting up a proportion and cross-multiplying. 15x, bring down the equal sign, cross-multiply, 132, and then 132, we're going to divide that by 15. So x equals, I think that's going to be 132 divided by 15 is 8.8. All right, you try number 3. Let's see what we got on the back here. We have another type of problem here. It says when a quantity varies directly, okay, directly is your multiplication, as the product, there's your multiplication of 2 or more quantities, the variation is called joint variation. Okay, joint variation usually looks maybe like, well, you'll see it here in a moment. It's a joint variation. Okay, they're varying directly, so it's going to be multiplication. It's going to look like this, except we're going to have one additional variable. Okay, so we start off, instead of y, they use r. Okay, equals, there's our constant. Okay, s and t. So you just put s and t. So r varies jointly, okay, as s and t. So you got k times s times t. So they're related directly, and a joint variation are very similar in their structure of multiplication. Okay, now it continues. It says and inversely, and remember inversely, that's where you have your divide. Okay, so and inversely, so we need a division as u. So r varies jointly, so constant of variation as s and t, and inversely as u. Okay, so let's plug in the numbers. So r is 18, s is 2, t is 3, and u is 4. So we're trying to find out what k is. So we're going to have 18 equals 6k over 4. And then multiplying by the reciprocal. So we have 18 times 4 divided by 6. And our constant of variation is 12. So based on that, we're going to rewrite the equation. Okay, find s. So we're looking for s when r is 6, t is 2, and u is 4. Okay, let's see, 12 times 2 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is 6. And so s equals 1. All right, number 5 is for you.